Hello and welcome to a new session on Hebrew, and this is Hebrew Construct Part 2. I'm going to again start from where I left off. I'm going to rather begin at 10.11, and we were looking at bisyllabic nouns. Okay, so I'm going to first do 10.1a. Bisyllabic nouns with their first syllable open. First syllable open and second syllable closed will form the singular construct by volatilizing the vowel of the first syllable and shortening the vowel of the. So volatilization will take place in the first syllable because it's open, and there is going to be a shortening of the vowel in the closed syllable. Okay, so this is a bisyllabic noun which has the first syllable open and the second syllable closed. All right, in their constructs, what will happen is that there is going to be a volatilizing of the vowel in the first syllable and the shortening of the vowel in the second syllable, which happens to be a closed syllable. Remember, the second syllable is closed and the first is open. So let's see some examples for this. I'm dealing with 10.11 A. All right, 10.11 A. The very word called davar. This is word, and I want to say word of. Okay, remember, this is now an open and this is a closed syllable. Now this is the absolute noun. The accent moves, so this is a closed unaccented, and this is an open propretonic because it is at least two syllables away from the tonal syllable. So what happens here is, in an open propretonic, we are going to have a volatilization. Okay, that is the rules of Hebrew. And in the second case, because it is a closed unaccented syllable. Remember, it's a closed unaccented syllable. Therefore, you can only have a short vowel. You cannot have a kametz according to the rules. So I'm going to have a patak in this case. You cannot have kametz. You can only have patak in this, and therefore it changes from a kametz to a patak. So how are we going to translate it? Word of. I'll give you another example. Now, remember that when any of the syllables have long vowels that resist shortening, all the unchangeable longs, then of course there is nothing you can do about it. For example, let me do the next example. Hekal. Okay, so again, this is an open. Remember, the rule said one it's a bisyllable with one open and one closed, and this is the closed one. Now remember, this is my absolute noun. The accent has moved there, so it's hekal. So this is a kametz, closed unaccented syllable. You cannot have a kametz. You will have a patak. What about this here? Now this is an open propretonic. Can I have this volatilized? The answer is no, because it is an unchangeable long. It is an unchangeable long. It will not change according to rules of grammar. So it is hekal, except that this has a patak. This is palace of. Let me show you another example with a slight variation. And these are all examples that I am taking from Page Kelly, so you can follow it in your book. fact, I'll do all the examples here. Kokav. Kokav means star. Now, this is my absolute noun. The accent is moved, and remember, this is ending with a vowel, so it is an open. This is a closed. Okay, so what is happening here? This is a closed unaccented syllable. This is an open propretonic. In a closed unaccented syllable, can I have a kametz? The answer is no. It will be a patak. What about this one? This is an unchangeable long. I cannot change it, so it will remain as this kokav with a patak. Now you may be wondering, how will I recognize between the absolute and the construct form, because the only difference is this one particular vowel, and the answer to that is, well, it depends on where it is in the sentence. Is it at the beginning, in the chain rather? Is it at the beginning? Is it a construct, or is it at the last noun where it's an absolute? So you will not find it difficult at all. Just find out where it is in the chain itself. You will easily find out if it's a construct noun or if it's an absolute noun. Okay, so this is translated as star of. Let me give you the next example, which is there in the book. It is the word makom. 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 This is the absolute noun. The accent moves there. And this is how you break the syllable. Again, this is a closed, unaccented. This is an open propretonic. In an open propretonic, this vowel, the kametz, will become a vocal sheva. What about this closed, unaccented syllable? You see, I'm dealing with an unchangeable long. Therefore, that will not change. So it's mekom. Mekom is place of. The last example in the series is nabi. Nabi. Again, this is my absolute noun. The accent moves here. So now this has become a. Now in this case, this is ending with an aleph, so it is not a closed syllable. It is an open. It is an open, unaccented syllable. This is a propretonic. Propretonic, open propretonic. In this case, both are open pretonic. Both this one is open. Okay. So what is happening here is there will be a volatilization here, and in this case, it's a kirekyod. This unchangeable long, it will not change. So what is this? It will be pronounced as nevi. Nevi is obviously prophet of. Okay, that's pretty much what the rule is. Now, this was an example. All these were examples typically, except the last one. All of them were examples where the first syllable was open and the second syllable was closed. And we said there's going to be in the open syllable there's going to be a volatilization, and in the closed syllable there's going to be a shortening of the vowel. So what is going to happen if both of them are closed syllables? That's what we're going to see in 10.11b. 10.11b. It's a case of both syllable closed. Now, if both syllable is closed and they will be in an unaccented position, we will see the shortening of the vowel. We will see the shortening of the vowel. Remember, if both syllables are closed, and once you lose the accent, it will be an unaccented syllable. Remember, closed unaccented will only accept short vowels, so you should expect only short vowels. So let me do the first example. It is midbar. midbar. Okay, now again, this is my accent absolute noun, my accent moves. These are both closed. All right, this is now the accent is gone, so this is also a closed unaccented syllable. This is also closed unaccented syllable. In a closed unaccented syllable, you can only have short vowels. So let's see, this is a kamets, it will become a patak. Now this is a kirek. This will not shut at all. I mean, rather, what am I saying? Shut. This will not. This will not be. This is already a short vowel. Already short. It will not have to be. Don't have to change the vowel because it's already short, and it follows the rule that it's a closed unaccented syllable. So you just leave it this way. Okay. So this will be translated as desert of or wilderness of. Okay, can come in geographical descriptions in the Old Testament. Migdal. Migdal is another word. Migdal. So here is my absolute noun. The accent is moved. This is a closed unaccented syllable. This is also a closed unaccented syllable. Now I have a kamets in this one is a kamets, so this will not be accepted in a closed unaccented syllable. It has to be a patak. All right. What about the next guy here? Now in the next syllable here, this is already a kirek. It is a short vowel, and that is perfectly acceptable in a closed unaccented syllable. All right. That's pretty much what it is. So this is translated as Migdal, tower of. Let me show you another example. All are taken in order sequence from the Page Kelly book from 10.11b. So you can follow it in your Page Kelly. Mispar. Okay, and this is my absolute noun. The accent has moved there. I have now, this is a closed unaccented. This is also closed unaccented. This is a kamets. I cannot have kamets in a closed unaccented syllable. This will become a patak. What about this syllable? Here it is a kirek, and it is a kirek, and it will not shorten itself. It is already a short, so I don't have to change the vowel at all. So because a closed unaccented will always take a short vowel. One more example. Mishpat. My absolute noun is here. The accent moves here. This is a closed unaccented syllable. This is again a closed unaccented syllable. In this syllable, what is happening is I cannot have a kamets there. I will need to have a patak, because the patak is only this short. And in this one, in this syllable, I already have a kirek, which is a short. So I don't have to change anything, because a closed unaccented syllable will prefer a short vowel. So this is translated as judgment of. judgment of. Okay, let me go to the next point, which is 10.11c. What about a bisyllabic noun like segolets? A bisyllabic noun like segolets. Okay. Bisyllabic nouns like segolets. So segolets, remember, are bisyllabic. What about that? Well, nothing to worry about. Their singular construct has the same form as the singular absolute. So again, you will not be challenged because the form is the same as the singular absolute. So the singular absolute of this word eretz, this is the singular absolute, and the singular construct will also be the same. I can notice that the munak is there in that word, but again, will you be challenged as to whether this is functioning as a construct or whether it's functioning as an absolute? Find out if there is a noun which is after it. If there's a noun after it, that means it's not the last noun in the chain, and therefore you can safely, again, if there's a noun after it which is part of the, you will notice that it should be a part of the chain unless it has a vav attached to it, a next word, which you remember, according to the rules of Hebrew, in a chain, remember, in a chain, the only thing that can come between the chain is a definite article. That's all. You cannot have a vav and all. Alright? So just notice what is following it. It usually, if it is followed by a noun, you can safely assume that this is a construct happening here because it's a construct noun. Okay? This is again 11 point, sorry, it's 10.11c. Okay, let's do what happens in the case of there are some masculine, if I remember correctly, just give me a minute. Yes, there are some nouns, this is not there in your book, there are some nouns ending with segol he. Segol he, alright? So nouns ending with segol he are masculine. I'm sorry. They are masculine. They are masculine nouns. Nouns ending with segol he are a masculine noun. Remember, it's not a kamet he, so it's not feminine. It's a segol he. It's a masculine noun. And what will happen in their construct, in their singular construct, the segol he changes to a sere he. So I have a word like sade. Remember, sade is a field. Sade. This is a segol he. This is a masculine singular noun. Alright? It is a noun that's ending with the segol he. Now, this is the absolute form. If I want to make it a construct form, then the segol he changes to a sere he. That's the only change you're going to observe there. So let me just change it. Okay, so sere he. Again, this is an absolute noun. The accent moves. This is an open propretonic. And there's going to be a volatilization which takes place here. But there'll be no changes to this sere he, although it is in a it's ending with a he, so it's an open syllable, and in an open syllable it's an open unaccented syllable. All right, so that will be a, a sere he. It will be ending on that. Yeah, so if you remember, open, generally in open pretonic or this one, they prefer a long vowel. This is certainly a long vowel, but is it functioning as a pretonic? Well, if you consider the absolute noun as a complete tonal, this one, yeah, perhaps in that sense. But right now, you just have to remember that the segol he changes to a sere he. That's all. Just remember it moves. There's a volatilization which will take place before it. Let me. Do I have any more examples? Yes, I do. These are all. This is coming from the Van Pelt book, actually. This is Makhane. In this particular example, what happens is this segol he will become a sere he. This is the absolute noun. This is how it breaks because this is a vocal shava, so it begins as this one. This is an open. There's no. In this case, there is no volatilization that is taking place here. So this seems to be a little different from what we are used to studying. But all you have to remember is the segol he, and if you remember the roots of the word, you will know the particular word. Now let me just see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, let me get back to page Kelly. Now we're going to do feminine nouns. Feminine nouns. Feminine nouns. Now feminine nouns in the singular, they end with kamatse. All right, that's how you recognize this as a feminine noun. Okay, now what will happen is this is the absolute state. In the construct state, the he, remember at he at the end of a word, two things can happen. It can drop off completely or it can change to another word. And usually if it changes to another word, it changes to a tau, which is another old feminine ending. So in this case, it strengthens to a tau. Alright, it's very weak. Usually he at the end of a word is very weak unless the he has a dot in it, which is the mapik. Then it's a strong guttural. Otherwise it's very weak. It can drop off. So if it is, sometimes it strengthens to a tau, which is an old feminine ending, and what is going to happen is the shortening of vowels should happen in a closed syllable. So two things happen. The first thing that's going to happen is the tau gets formed. Second thing that's going to happen in a closed syllable, which is unaccented, you're going to have a short vowel. Okay, this is going to be unaccented. You're going to have a short vowel. That's pretty much what the rule always was. Okay, let me show you some example. Okay, now, which this is, I'm dealing with 10.11d. Okay, so the word is malka. This is queen. I want to say queen of. Remember, what is going to happen first is you're going to have the strengthening of the he to the tau. Now I'm going to put this is my absolute noun. The accent has moved. Now I'm breaking it. So now I have two closed syllables. Closed unaccented. Closed unaccented. The closed unaccented will be, of course, I cannot have a patak here, kamits here. I will have a patak here. In this case, it's already a patak. I do not have to, because this is a closed unaccented, it will take only a short vowel, and that will remain. So the word is Malkhat. Malkhat is queen of. Let me do maybe 3 more examples from the same series. The next one is mitzvah. 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 It's commandment. Remember what the first thing is. It ends with a kametz he, and therefore you know that it is a feminine singular. What will happen? It strengthens. Just retain that. It will strengthen to a tau. Okay. Now remember, this is my absolute noun, and my accent is gone. This is an unchangeable. This is a closed unaccented. This is a closed unaccented. In a closed unaccented syllable, you're going to have not a kametz, you're going to have a patak. Here, in the first syllable here, this is already short. I don't have to shorten it anymore. So it remains as mitzvat. Mitzvat, which is commandment of. Okay. Let me do one more example. This is slightly different because in this case what happens is Shana, sorry. Yeah, this will become a tau first. The he becomes a tau. This obviously was a kametz always to begin with. I have my absolute noun here. My accent goes, and now this is a closed unaccented. This is an open propretonic. This is now in a closed unaccented syllable. Hebrew will only take a patak. In a open propretonic, it will be reduced to a vocal sheva. So it will be sheva. In fact, I put the wobbling wrong. It should be sha. Sorry. There's a wobbling of the sheva. It should be a dot on this side. So it is shenat. Okay, shenat. Shenat is ear off. Let me do another one. Torah. 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 Now you know this is a feminine singular simply because it ends with a kametz he. It'll end strengthen to a tau. This is my absolute noun. The accent moves there. This is now a closed unaccented. This is an open propretonic. Here in a closed unaccented syllable, can I have a kametz? The answer is no, I'll have a patak. This is an open propretonic. I should have a vocalization, but I am dealing with an unchangeable long vowel. It will not change, and therefore it remains torat. Alright, so this is now law of. That's all you need to remember. Okay, there's one pattern for bait. Now, bait. Bait, house. House has a very unique bait. Remember this is accented here. Okay, bait. Now in this is the absolute form. In the construct form, the entire patak yod and a kirek will now change into a sereyod. Alright? And we lose the accent also because this was originally a two-syllable word because it had two full vowels. But now this was two full vowels. But this is a one syllable. It is one syllable. Okay, it's got just one vowel. So it becomes, we lose the accent also. The munak which is here is also lost because now the entire thing is a tonal syllable anyways. So please bear in mind that this comes in 10.2. In 10.2, a word like bait, when it has the patak, yod and the kirek, that combination, very often in the construct will move to a sereyod. This is something you have to just memorize and keep. Okay, there are some more examples there: bait, olive tree, and ain. So let me do the olive tree right now. Olive tree in Hebrew is zait. Remember the patak, the yod, and the kirek. This is the absolute form, and in the construct form, that will now become a sere, yod, and a tau. We lose the accent munak because now from a two-syllable, it's become a monosyllable. There's only one of that, so we don't have to add the munak anymore because it's already a tonal syllable. Third example of that is the ayin. I'll also do that. Ayin. Again, this is the absolute state. In the construct state, the patak, yod, and kirek. By the way, this is a yod and then a kirek. Okay, not a kirek yod. Please bear that in mind. Will now change to an ayin with a sereyod, and a nun. So this is from a two-syllable word. It's become a monosyllable. All right. The munak is redundant now because this itself is the monosyllable is a tonal syllable. Okay. Please bear this in mind. Now, what about nouns in a construct relationship which has adjectives in it? I'm talking about 10.14. What if you have an adjective in it? The adjective will always be placed at the end. Now, remember adjectives will modify a noun. The question is, which noun is it modifying? Is the adjective modifying the absolute noun, or is it modifying the construct noun? That's the question. And to answer that, you see the person, gender, number of this, and you see the person, gender, number. Not the person, gender, number. I'm sorry. You see the gender. Let me redo that. Gender, number, and definiteness of that. You see the gender, number, and definiteness or indefiniteness. Gender, number, and definiteness or indefiniteness, and compare it, and you will figure out whether the adjective is modifying the absolute noun or whether the objective is modifying the construct noun. Let me give you an example of it. All right. And these examples, I think, in the Page Kelly, in the other book, I have uploaded it as my notes PDF. There's one PDF which has this very beautifully done. You can see that also. But here is one example. Ben. Ish. It's Isha and Hazot. Clearly, there's a makif here. This is the construct noun, this is the absolute noun, and this is the demonstrative pronoun. The question is, this demonstrative pronoun is modifying which one? Is it modifying Isha or is it modifying Ben? And because according to that only you can translate it. Okay, so now let's see. Let me first see what this is. This is a feminine. Zot is a feminine. If you remember this one, it's a feminine singular and it is definite. Okay, this Haisha is a feminine singular and it is definite. Now Ben is a masculine singular and it is also definite. Why is this definite? Remember, construct nouns cannot take a definite article. Its definiteness is marked because the absolute noun is a definite. So this is definite, alright? So it's an MSD. So now compare. This FSD is cannot be modifying this guy, right? Cannot be modifying Ben because that's a masculine singular. It can only be modifying the Haisha. So how do you translate it? The son, alright, the son of, because that's the of relationship, of this is the Zot, of this woman. The son of this woman. And that's pretty much how it is done. Let me show you another example from the book. Devar Ham Melek and then you have the word, I don't have space there, I'm writing it on top. Hagadol. Alright. Devar Ham Melek Hagadol. Alright. This is now a construct noun. This is an absolute noun. You can figure out the absolute noun is definite. So the entire chain is definite. So it should typically be the word of the king. But I have this adjective here. Alright. Now this adjective is it modifying the absolute noun or is it modifying the construct noun? To figure that out, I have to figure out what kind of an adjective I'm dealing with. This is a masculine singular definite. What about my Hammelek? This absolute noun is a masculine singular definite. What about my this word here? This is also a masculine singular and definite. So in a sense, this can modify either it can be the great word of the king or the word of the great king. The context will tell you exactly how best to translate it. The context will tell you how best to translate it. This is why am I calling this definite? Because it is definite because of the chain being definite, because my absolute has a definite. So that is why I'm calling it definite. Alright. So the context will tell you that it is not translated as the great word of the king, it is translated as the word of the great king. Okay, that's pretty much it. For some more examples of this kind, go to that PDF which I have shown you, which I have uploaded in the on Moodle. Okay, the final part of it is what is the job of the construct? Well, first of all, it indicates location or origin. Okay, so when I say Arim, Yehuda, the cities of Judah, again I'm reading it from the book, it's telling you the location. Where is this, what the location? So it's indicating that. Or if I say Anshe Yerushalayim or the men of Judah, it's telling you the origin. Okay, where are the men from? They are from Judah. So construct relationships indicate location or origin. The second thing it can tell you, it gives you a further description or identification. What that means is identification of a person or a thing. So Yom Koshek, what kind of a day? Yom Koshek, a day of darkness. Or Suse Esh, what kind of horses? Well, horses of fire. Okay, Sefer HaBerit, what kind of book? The book of the covenant. Okay, Eretz Mitzrayim, what land or which land? The land of Egypt. And third thing is it shows possession. or ownership. Ownership. Ben ha-isha. Ben ha, son, the son of the woman. Okay, so it's a particular. It is the ownership or possession. Now, literally, you don't have to take it otherwise. In syntax, in terms of syntax, yes, it is showing possession. Okay, Devar Elohim, the word of God. Whose word is it? God's word. Sadeh Navoth, the field of Navoth. Why the field? Because Navoth is definite because it's the name of a person. All right. So again, possession or ownership. Thus, Ruach Elohim, so the Spirit of God, showing ownership or possession. So construct relationship can show many other nuances, but predominantly it shows you this. And with this, I hope you enjoyed this particular session of Hebrew. Thank you.